The Pitchsider. Pitchside for every game.
Hello and welcome back to the Pitchsider Podcast. Sorry there was no podcast last week. It was due to me being unwell, but we're back now. We'll go through the games from this week and bring you an update of all of the Champions League games as well as the Europa League games and their table, and games from the Premier League and La Liga and so on. So yeah, a lot to cover, so we'll get into it straight away. So let's start with the Premier League, as always. So this week, so we had game week 5. So on in the sort of Arab derby, so we got Newcastle versus United, which ended 1-1. Arsenal managed to rescue their win against Leicester with 2 late goals, ending in a 4-2 defeat to Leicester. West Ham beat Brentford 1-0. Chelsea beat Brighton 4-2 with 6 goals scored in the first half. Everton beat Palace 2-1. Fulham beat Forest 1-0, and Liverpool beat Wolves 2-1. On Sunday, Ipswich and Aston Villa drew 2-2, and Tottenham beat United 3-0. There is a game between Bournemouth and Southampton to come tonight as of recording this. So yeah, many games going on. Obviously starting with Man City versus Newcastle. With the game between Arsenal and City, Rodri got injured and he's now out for the season. This looks bad for City. City always seem to struggle without Rodri. So could their 5th title charge be damaged by this? Only time will tell, but yeah, Newcastle managed to get a point against them after Newcastle went 1-0 up. City managed to rescue the point from this. Arsenal looked to get a 2-2 draw with Leicester, which would have been so surprise. They scored two goals within injury time to rescue a 4-2 win here. So yeah, managed to carry on with that sort of top run. Chelsea are now unbeaten in 5 games in all competitions with their win over Brighton and look very strong under the new Maresca era. So interesting to see. Everton managed to get their first win. They've looked good going 2-0 up in the last couple of games, but as we mentioned before, they always seem to lose, but they managed to get a 2-1 victory over Palace. Palace look to really be struggling now, where they sit within the table. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, they haven't managed to get a win all season. And yeah, many people had them sort of a top 10, sort of maybe 8th, maybe challenging to Europe, because they had a really good end to last season under their current manager, but unfortunately it hasn't been able to be turned, whether it was because they've lost Elise or whether the injury, sort of the signings they've made have failed to make an impact. Only time will tell. They definitely disrupted their defence with the loss of Anderson as well. Probably the other biggest game, Aston Villa dropped points against Ipswich. So Ipswich look okay. They're now up to 15th, I think, in the league. But with Aston Villa sort of really struggling. They've looked really good in the start of the season. But yeah, 2-2 dropped 2 points, which has cost them a top 4 place at the moment. Sort of mid-table teams at the moment, Manchester United versus Tottenham. Tottenham won 3-0 against Manchester United. I don't really know what Manchester United can do at the moment. They're really struggling. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes got sent off in this game, but by this point, Tottenham were already 1-0 up. Tottenham produced a magnificent display against an outclassed 10 men, and this puts renewed pressure on Erik ten Hag. Spurs were even without an injured Song tore Manchester United apart as they set the platform for the victory for the first half masterclass. The only mystery is now how Brennan Johnson's 3rd-minute goal shows the overwhelming dominance. I just don't understand United. I don't really know where they can go. Managers seem to come in. It's been reported in the last 8 minutes of actually starting this recording, Manchester United are looking to stick with Erik ten Hag for a few matches against Porto and Aston Villa this week, despite their demolition against Tottenham. Erik ten Hag enjoyed a poor start to the season, which has left United in 12th in the Premier League. A number of senior sources at United have told BBC that it's business as usual, and the club are focusing on the upcoming match, Porto and Villa. No official comment has been made. Speaking after the defeat, Ten Hag said he's not thinking about losing his job and added that the owners are on the same page. Ten Hag signed a new contract within the summer, and last month, Chief Exec Omar said that the club has his full backing. It's going to be interesting to go. They're expected to stick with Ten Hag, but how long are they expected to stick with him, and how long do you give him before you sort of move on? Looking at managers out there, there isn't really many unless they're going to go with a surprise, maybe like Potter or Southgate. There is really sort of a lackluster. Zidane sort of has said that he wouldn't really manage in England. Tuchel has just got a new job. So some of these big hitters are sort of now taking up their jobs. It'll be interesting to see who they can go and get. Obviously they've tried big name coaches under Mourinho. They just really haven't really hit any form or done anything really successfully since a sort of Sir Alex Ferguson. They haven't managed to be able to put on a title fight. And I don't really know where they go. Even the change of ownership really hasn't helped. I know it's still early into theirs. But look at Chelsea. Chelsea have struggled, but the way they're going at the moment, they look to be a top 4 team. That's where Manchester United won. They've spent a lot of money this season signing big players. Whether they were right signings, only time will tell. But probably one of their worst performance signings at the moment, in my opinion, is Højlund. They signed for 70 million, didn't really hit last season, was injured a lot, been injured a lot this season. Where are the goals going to come from? That is the biggest argument for United. And I just don't see Fernandes is maybe their only goal threat at the moment. Xerxes looks good, okay. Garnacho, they've got some good players in those front lines, but have they really gelled? Have they really sort of cool? Are they really a threat? Are they? If you look at the other top 4, United, you look at sort of like Tottenham's, they managed to score 3 against them. Look at Haaland and Jackson. All of these players are scoring 15, 20 goals per season. Has United got one of these players in their squad? I don't know. Only time will tell. But let's have a look at the Premier League table. So Liverpool are now top as Man City have drawn their last 2 games and they dropped down to 2nd. Arsenal sit in 3rd, joint on points with City with 1 point behind Liverpool, and Chelsea sit in 4th with 13 points, joint with Everton. Only Chelsea are above on goal difference. Aston Villa make up 5th with 6th going to Fulham and 7th going to Newcastle. Tottenham climb up to 8th with Brighton sitting in 9th and Forest sitting in 10th. Going into the bottom half of the table, Brentford sit 11th with United in 12th. 13th is Bournemouth, 14th with West Ham. 15th out of the relegation zone is Ipswich, followed by Everton and Leicester. Crystal Palace slipped down the table with not one single win yet. With Crystal Palace, sort of Southampton sit, they currently have 1 point, but if they can beat Bournemouth tonight, they can climb out of the relegation and sit 16th, with Wolverhampton making a shock start to the season as well, sitting last with a -10 goal difference. So only time we're going to tell to see how well these teams are going to get on. But definitely going to be very interesting. As always, we will continue with the champion. So on Friday we had Plymouth Argyle versus Luton. Plymouth Argyle won this 3-1. On Saturday, we had Blackburn Rovers versus QPR, which ended 2-0 to Blackburn. Derby lost to Norwich City 3-2. West Brom lost to Sheffield Wednesday 3-2. Hull beat Cardiff 4-1. Leeds beat Coventry 3-0. Middlesbrough and Stoke, Middlesbrough won this 2-1. Millwall beat Preston North End 3-1. Oxford and Burnley ended 0-0, as well as Portsmouth and Sheffield United, and Watford beat Sunderland 2-1. On Sunday, Blackburn Rovers lost. So having a look at the table for the Championship, West Brom sit top with 16 points and Sunderland set in second, followed by Blackburn, Burnley, Leeds and Sheffield making up the playoff spots, with Watford just missing out. And then sitting in relegation, we have Cardiff, Portsmouth and Preston North End. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Definitely a story to watch is the United one. But the other management sort of shock that could come is there was a rumour over the weekend with Russell Martin, the Southampton manager, could be possibly getting the sack amongst their poor start to the season as well. But yeah, one of the rumoured candidates for this is Graham Potter. And do check out the Pitchsider's article on this, which was released yesterday. What could Potter bring to a Southampton side? So yeah, definitely go check it out. It's definitely worth a read. So let's have a look now at the Champions League and Europa League. So the Champions League, we will go through just quickly run through all of the scores that have happened from the first stage, and then we'll look at the table, and we'll do the same with the Europa League. Won't go into too many games at the moment because this was last week. So Sporting beat Lille 2-0, Real Madrid beat Stuttgart 3-1, Bayern Munich beat Dynamo Zagreb 9-2, Liverpool beat AC Milan 3-1, Aston Villa beat Young Boys 3-0, Juventus beat PSV 3-1, PSG beat Girona 1-0, Man City and Inter Milan drew 0-0, Borussia Dortmund and Club Brugge Borussia Dortmund won 3-0, Celtic beat Slovan Brzezinski 5-1, Sparta Prague beat Red Bull Salzburg 3-1, Bologna and Shakhtar Donetsk drew 0-0, Monaco beat Barcelona 2-1, Brest beat Sturm Graz 2-1, Atletico Madrid beat RB Leipzig 2-1, Atalanta and Arsenal drew 0-0, Benfica and Red Star Belgrade drew Benfica won as 2-1, and Bayer Leverkusen beat Feyenoord 4-2. So in the top 8 spots, we have Bayern Munich, Celtic, Bayer Leverkusen, Villa, Dortmund, Sparta Prague, Liverpool and Juventus, which all make it into the automatic playoffs, followed by Real Madrid, Sporting, Benfica, Madrid, Brest, Monaco, PSG, Arsenal, Atalanta, Bologna, Inter Milan, Man City, Shakhtar Donetsk, Barcelona, RB Leipzig and Stade Gram. All of these teams would play each other for a playoff spot to play the 8 teams above them. But yeah, still a long way to go. There's still 7 games to go in this competition. Let's have a look at the Europa League. So the scores from last week was Nice versus Real Sociedad, which was 1-0. Hoffenheim beat Swiss side Mandala 1-0. United drew Satui 1-0. Slava Prague beat Ludros 2-0. Galatasaray beat PAOK 3-1. Lazio beat Dynamo Kiev 3-1. Atalanta beat Vankolos 2-1. Bodo Glimt beat Porto 3-2. AZ beat Elfsberg 3-2. Tottenham beat Quebec 3-0. Sparta Prague beat Makatalev 2-1. Roma and Athletic Club drew 1-0. Olympic Lyon and Panos was 2-0. FCSB beat Ragos FC 4-1. Freiburg and Victor Polent was 3-0. Ajax beat Besiktas 4-1. Malmo Rangers beat Malmo 2-0. Fenerbahce beat Unez 2-1. Looking at the table, the top 8 is Ajax, FC B, Lazio, Tottenham, Galatasaray, Rangers, Sparta Prague and Lyon. All of these make it into the top 8 so far. But again, this is only game week 1. So yeah, that is all the games from here. And we do have the next group stage in the next couple of weeks, so we'll cover this next week in next week's podcast. So let's have a look at the European football and what's happened in these leagues over the last weekend. Let's have a look at the scores from over the weekend. So starting on Friday in La Liga, Rayo Vallecano lost to Mallorca 2-1. The German in the Bundesliga, Borussia Dortmund beat Bochum 4-2. AC Milan beat Linz 3-0. And in Ligue 1, Audio beat Brest 3-0 and PSG beat Rennes 3-1. On Saturday, in the Liga, Getafe beat Del Por Alvarez 2-0. Rayo Vallecano beat Lens 1-0. Real Sociedad and Valencia was 3-0. Oslo and Barcelona. Oslo beat Barcelona 4-2. In the Bundesliga, Borussia Mönchengladbach beat Union Berlin 1-0. St. Paul beat Freiburg 3-1. Werder Bremen beat Mainz 2-0. RB Leipzig beat Augsburg 4-0. Wolfsburg and Stuttgart was 2-0. And Bayern Munich drew to Bayer Leverkusen 1-0. In Serie A, Inter Milan beat Udinese 3-0. Juventus beat Grenoble 3-0. And Bochum and Atalanta was 1-0. And in Ligue 1, Lens and Nice drew 0-0. Lille beat Le Havre 3-0 and Monaco beat Montpellier 2-1. On Sunday, Celta Vigo and Grenoble was 1-0. Athletic Club and Seville was 1-0. Real Betis beat Oswald 1-0 and Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid drew 1-0. Frankfurt beat Hossa Cologne 4-2 and Werder Bremen lost to Werder Bremen 3-4. In Serie A, Lazio beat Turin 3-1. Como beat Hellas Verona 3-2. Roma beat Vanzeros 2-1. Empoli and Fiorentina was 0-0 and Napoli beat Monza 2-0. In the Ligue 1, Toulouse lost to Lyon 2-0. Reims beat Angers 3-1. Saint Etienne and Nantes was 2-0 and Strasbourg beat Marseille 1-0. As of recording this, we do have Valencia versus Las Palmas tonight, Parma v Cagliari, and we do have the Premier League game as well. So let's have a look at the tables. So in La Liga, Barcelona sit top, followed by Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid and Athletic Club, with Valencia, Rayo Vallecano and Las Palmas all in the relegation zone. In the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich sit top with 13 points without losing the game so far. Frankfurt sit in second, followed by RB Leipzig and Bayer Leverkusen. Borussia Dortmund and Werder Bremen sit 5th and 6th, with Hoffenheim, Bochum and Haas Cologne in the relegation zones. In Serie A, Napoli sit top, followed by Juventus, AC Milan and Inter Milan, so the top four you would normally expect, with Turin and Empoli 5th and 6th. Valencia, Montpellier and Cagliari are all in the relegation zone. One team to watch out for is Como. They have now got back-to-back wins and have climbed from the relegation zone right up to 10th in the table. So definitely a team to watch out for. In Ligue 1, PSG, Monaco and Marseille sit top, with Rennes, Lille and Lens, Mill and Reims making up 4th, 5th and 6th, with Montpellier, Saint Etienne and Angers all making up the teams in relegation. So the news stories, so fans are angry for a reason. Madrid derby after disputes. Atletico Madrid equalised in injury time against Real Madrid after the match was suspended for 20 minutes after fans throwing objects into the pitch. Juventus' remarkable defensive record continued at the weekend with a 3-0 win at Grano with Vlahovic scoring twice. They have now scored 9 goals and not conceded in their opening 6 Serie A games despite having the established backline. So La Liga, Barcelona remain top despite their first loss of the season. Barcelona and Bayer Leverkusen play out their draw. And Monaco celebrated their 100th birthday over a dramatic win. Leaders PSG scored the second, and second place Monaco remained level on points at the top of Ligue 1 after both sides won again. PSG have the edge on goal difference with both sides 16 points from 6 games. Bayern are positive over Kane injury, but Barcelona's 100% league start ends with their loss at the weekend. Pitbull Gallagher is leading new look Atletico into mid-derby. Barcelona hit with ticket ban after fan racism. So yeah, that's everything that's happened sort of in Europe and across the UK. So yeah, definitely a lot to have happened there. So yeah, obviously we've got the Champions League and Europa League returning this week, so definitely keep an eye out for those. And yeah, for all the latest news, do check out our social media pages. And do check out the Pitchsider website for all of the latest articles. So thank you for listening. Hope you've had a fantastic week, and goodbye.
For all the latest news, transfers, and football articles, check out thepitchsider.com. It's the place to be. Contact us on our socials. Instagram and Twitter is @thepitchsider, or via email is thepitchsider@hotmail.com.